and he was shot down by Manfred von Richthofen, the famous Red Baron. I'm taking a walk into the town of Kimbolton in Huntingdonshire. And what a beautiful day it is today. Forecast is 27 degrees, almost as warm as the other day when I had a walk around St Neots. But just as I approach the town, building on my left is Kimbolton Castle. Well, it's Kimbolton School now, but it used to be Kimbolton Castle. And I'll talk more about the castle in this video. But on the left here is a wall. It's a sunken wall. It's called a ha-ha because it gives uninterrupted views from what would have been the castle over the landscape. Stops people coming in and stops unwanted animals as well from grazing on the land, from actually wandering into the grounds itself. A low wall. Absolutely brilliant. I've never seen one before. I know they exist, but the first time I've actually come across one. And they're really rather fun. I'm not sure why they're called a ha-ha, but I'll put some information on the screen about that. But it's really nice to see. But in this video, we'll take a walk through the town, discover a fantastic gatehouse, and also an incredible story on the town's war memorial as we walk through the town and up towards the church. And as I walk around the corner, there's a huge sign saying Abington's quality menswear. And on the front of the shop there's a date which says 1858. And the business is still going strong today. Viewings are by appointment, as the card says in the window. But really nice. Oh, that's two little surprises. Well, I haven't even really started the video yet, because what I've come to Kimbolton to look at is the Gatehouse, and that's just up here. This gatehouse really is incredibly fine. This was built as a statement. It's part of Kimbolton Castle, which is now Kimbolton School. Gatehouse dates from 1766 and was designed by the architect Robert Adam. He was the son of the great Scottish architect William Adam, and Robert was born on the 3rd of July 1748 in Kirkcaldy and died on the 3rd of March 1792 in London. He's actually buried in Westminster Abbey. But this gatehouse is absolutely superb. It's one of his finest works. Just looking up at the architecture, the columns on the front and the brickwork around the windows, it really is just superb. And of course Robert Adam also designed the Pulteney Bridge in Bath as well. Another incredible structure. But Kimbolton School is built on the location of Kimbolton Castle. But it once home and prison to Catherine of Aragon after her divorce from Henry VIII. She was Henry's first wife, who spent 2 years imprisoned at Kimbolton before she died on the 7th of January 1536, aged just 50. And she was buried a few miles up the road at Peterborough Cathedral, and her ghost is said to haunt the former castle. Now, Kimbolton Castle was built by Geoffrey Fitzpeter, the first Earl of Essex, in the last part of the 12th century. Castle was acquired by the Wingfield family around 1522, and then converted the castle into a Tudor manor house. But in 1615 it was acquired by Sir Henry Montague, the first Earl of Manchester, and further building work continued in the 17th and 18th centuries. It was until the Montague family sold the castle in 1949. It became Kimbolton School. And Kimbolton School is so lucky to have probably the best gatehouse of any school I've visited. Certainly when I was at school we had a rickety old gate. Nothing as elaborate as designed by Robert Adam. But there we go. But this is the High Street. With a pub across the road, the New Sun Inn. Wells and Family Brewers since 1876. Nice sign on the front. It's nice when buildings keep their ghost signs. Yes, I assume it's a ghost sign. Doesn't look like a brewery today. But every year, Kimbolton hosts a statute fair, also known as the Statty. It's been held here since the year 1200, after Geoffrey Fitzpeter received a royal charter to hold one. A thriving market continued here throughout the medieval period, until its decline in the 1890s. Today, I think the Statty is just a single event held every September. But Kimbolton played its part in the Olympic Games as well. Many of the flags and banners throughout the Olympic Park were provided by the House of Flags, a business here in Kimbolton. And all the fireworks that we enjoyed watching on television, well, they were made here as well by Kimbolton Fireworks. But just walking through, looking at some of the other buildings and the architecture, it really is rather nice here. Apart from the main road, I'm just thinking how nice it would be here if the traffic was a little quieter. Must have been beautiful 200 odd years ago. Motor cars are a great invention, but comes with a lot of noise. But across the way is the church and the War Memorial. So let's take a quick look there. As I cross the road, you can look down the High Street, down towards the Gatehouse. And what a fantastic sight that is, with the school in the background. It really does dominate the landscape here. Just a shame it's not a castle, because I think it could be really impressive today to have an actual castle at the bottom of the High Street. But gosh, oh, it's a busy road. But some of the houses down there, they date to about the 13th century. It's just a shame that there's no dates written on some of the buildings. But what is interesting is the War Memorial. It's unveiled on the 20th of January 1920 by the Bishop of Ely, and the architect was a man called Sidney Inskip Lads. What a great name, Inskip Lads. But there are 34 names written on the memorial from those who died in service during the First and the Second World War. 29 died in the First World War and 5 in the Second. Now, looking at all the names on the memorial, there's one which stands out, and that's to a man called Gerald Gossett Bibby, or Second Lieutenant Gerald Gossett Bibby, and he was part of the 16th Squadron of the Royal Flying Corps. Now, the Royal Flying Corps was formed on the 13th of April 1912, and it merged with the RNAS on the 1st of April 1918 to form the Royal Air Force, the RAF. And the RNAS was the Royal Naval Airship Services, or Air Services, because all airships were operated by the Royal Navy. So they were airships. Navy had ships on the water, and ships in the sky, airships. But everything merged to form the Royal Air Force. Gossett Bibby, is the youngest person to be listed on this war memorial, and he died on Tuesday the 6th of March 1917. He was aged just 19 years old, and he was shot down by Manfred von Richthofen the famous Red Baron. And Manfred was one of the greatest German fighter aces of the First World War, and had 80 victories to his name. And Gerald, well, he was victim number 24. And the youngest name on the War Memorial. Absolutely interesting to read that and to learn a bit more about him, because all soldiers and those who served in our armed forces all have a story to tell, and occasionally you find something interesting, like Manfred von Richthofen shooting somebody down. We're just going to walk through this little gate here into St Andrew's Church. Absolutely beautiful looking up at it, with the spire, the castellated roof. Absolutely gorgeous, it really is. Now, this particular church dates from the 13th century, but there's evidence of an earlier church on this location, and a church was recorded in the Domesday Survey of 1086. Much of Kimbolton in that survey was listed as farms and agricultural land, but looking up at it, it really is a splendid building. But as I look up and look to the drain, it's got the date of 1733 on the front. And that's really nice to see. But let's go inside and take a look. What an absolutely beautiful church inside. And even the door has a story to tell. You can see the marks on the door from when Oliver Cromwell's men attacked the church during the English Civil War. And there's a really interesting grotesque inside as well. And it shows a man looking through his legs. The grotesque is different to a gargoyle. A gargoyle has water going through it. There's amusing little statues in the corners, are called grotesques. But the old font in there, old Saxon font, that shows its age. It's just beautiful to see it. Absolutely incredible looking at items in churches, because you never know what you're going to find, and to find a font like that really is exciting. But there are a couple of interesting wall plaques in the church as well. Lady Isabella, wife of Sir John Smythe. She died on the 1st of August 1632, aged 37. Her maiden name was Rich. Her parents were Lord Robert Rich and Lady Penelope Devereux. Both Devereux and Rich, both prominent families throughout British history. And another one to Lady Anne Rich, the wife of Edward, the Earl of Manchester, who died in 1641, aged 38. Really nice to see these old plaques, and there's some graves in there as well. Big box tomb, again to the Earls of Manchester. But I come outside, and the door behind me, absolutely superb to look at it. It's the entrance down to the crypt. And inside is the vault, and the wives of the Earls of Manchester are buried inside. Really is a beautiful church looking up at it. what is interesting in the church is the stained glass windows, and one in particular. It's the Tiffany window, and it's designed by the American glass artist Louis Comfort Tiffany, the son of the founder of Tiffany's Jewelers in New York. The window depicts the twin daughters of a lady called Consuelo Yazinga, an American of Cuban descent, and the widow of the 8th Duke of Manchester. And the window was installed back in 1901. Really is a prized window. There aren't too many in the country, but to see a Tiffany window really is very exciting. And what a beautiful church as well inside. And up on the roof you can see the funeral plaques to the Earls of Manchester. They dominate the upper level near the clerestory. Absolutely beautiful church, it really is. There are a lot of parish churches around the country which throw up so many surprises in there, inside, that they really are an absolute treat to visit. It's more to an old church than praying and worshipping at services. But I've had a really enjoyable walk through Kimbolton. Not the best, not the longest walk I've done in a town, but it's packed full of history here, from the Gatehouse all the way to the War Memorial and to the church. And I'm so pleased I came here. It really has been a very interesting morning. But this is where I end the video. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow my journey. And a video about airships will come up next. Thanks for watching.